Hey, it's me, Destin. Welcome back to Smarter Every Day. So I've been learning a lot about guns underwater, which is pretty cool. I mean, in the first video, I learned all about what's happening back here in the action. But the problem is, because of limitations in my setup, I didn't get to see what happened when the bullet exits and goes into the water. Now, I really want to see that, so I had to think about it for a while, and I had an aha moment. You see, instead of building an aquarium that was keeping the water in with the gun, I built this to keep the water out. The problem with doing an AK underwater is that I can't trigger the camera. So I've asked the slow-mo guys to come help me. So what are you going to run?
Running the Phantom V1610 today, which goes up to 18,000 frames a second at 720p.
I can't count that high.
Definitely more than we've got finished.
Can you zip me?
Unless you're from Alabama. Hey!
Alright, just to show you how cold it is when we're doing this, that's about 40 degrees. Alright, it has been very consistent. We're getting about 5 to 6 feet of bullet travel. Good load.
Good load.
Clear fire.
Good fire.
3, 2, 1. Weapons clear.
Whoa.
Did you get it?
I got it. I'm gonna check it.
Yeah, I know that was going to be cool, but not that cool. Let me try to explain what I think is going on here. So we got this oscillation that you can see after the shot in the bubbles. That's awesome. I didn't understand why the bubble would start back up after it collapsed. But here's what's going on. There's an equation called the Rayleigh-Plesset equation that describes everything a bubble does underwater. It's too hard to solve by hand, you gotta use computers to figure it out, but this is basically what's going on. At the initiation point, you have a super high pressure inside of a bubble, and it begins to impart momentum to the fluid around it, so it begins to grow. At some point, it passes the point where the pressure inside the bubble is equal to the pressure outside the bubble, and it continues to grow until eventually the water stops it. Now at this point, you have low pressure inside and high pressure outside, so it begins to collapse again, and because of fluid momentum, it goes again beyond that equilibrium point and begins to compress. So it gets a super high pressure on the inside again, and boom, another shock wave, and the process starts all over again. This oscillation occurs until you dissipate all the kinetic energy in the system. Now at this point of tightest closure, you have the highest pressure. At this point, sometimes something can occur called sonoluminescence. Sonoluminescence occurs when you get a flash of light when a cavitation bubble is collapsing. Now, as much as I want to believe this is sonoluminescence, I'm pretty sure it's just a really cool reflection from the sunlight above the pool. But it's still really interesting that it occurs at the point of collapse. I wonder why that's happening.